Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's NMeade here. The year of 2020 has concluded. December 2020 brought in 7 more world records for us to review, with some exciting highlights to end the 2020 year for Mario Kart Wii Time Trial. Let's get started. Starting us off in December, we had activity on Rainbow Road No Glitch. Imagine seeing Rainbow Road No Glitch. During the month of January 2021, this track finally had its first glitch pulled off humanly by Arthur. More to come with that in January's video coming in a few weeks. In December, Flair would set his first world record here on Rainbow Road, but not just one record. Flair would improve this record twice in December. On December 9th, Flair beat Ando's previous world record by 89 milliseconds with a time of 2:24.775. 20 days later, on December 29th, Flair would set his second improvement by 8 milliseconds this time, setting a new record of 2:24.767. Flair has been hard at work on Rainbow Road for quite some time now, often streaming many of his attempts on stream. And I must say, Flair's streams are awesome, being so consistent, and whenever I'd watch his runs, especially nearing the world record for the first time, his consistency was exciting to watch. Flair says with this grind, it was a matter of only trying to take off a couple of frames off his PB to his eventual first and second world record runs here in December. Flair says he would have been okay with any world record improvement, but an improvement of 89 milliseconds was way more than he was asking for at the time. As far as this run goes, Flair didn't have many complaints about this one, with everything going according to plan. Flair says the only minor complaint for this run will be everything after the lap 3 path switch, noting he could have ended the run a lot better, but in the end is glad he was able to finish it out. Fun fact that Flair mentions for this run is that this run is only 8 milliseconds off the best known pace entering lap 3. What an awesome feat to finish out this run, being your first world record, being nearly the newest best known pace entering lap 3 here. That is awesome. For Rainbow Road, Flair mentions getting 48.2s on lap 1 and 48.1s on lap 2 and 3 are ridiculous to hit individually, so stringing those laps together is mind-blowing for Flair. Flair does mention that the lap 3 itself was on incredible pace in of itself, as well up until the zipper turn after the cannon, with Flair feeling this was a 2:24.6 pace. You can tell how quick this pace was with this comparison from the perspective of Flair's newest time of the 7.67 versus the 7.75 we are discussing, and Ando's former world record, with Flair making up quite a bit of ground after the cannon lap 3. Flair says his initial goal was to push for a 2:24.7 time after getting the world record, but there simply wasn't any need since his first world record ended up being precisely a 2:24.7 time. Flair would end up taking a 2-week break after setting the 2:24.775, a break well earned and well deserved after the mighty grind Flair went through. Flair says he enjoys playing Rainbow Road in general and knew he could bring the time down further, so he figured to give it a few more tries, especially with the mental block being gone of getting the record. This happens all the time, whether it's subbing a certain second threshold or minute threshold on a track, all the way to setting your first world record. I know the feeling. After surpassing that barrier, all future attempts and improvements become a lot easier, getting the first one out of the way. Flair says the 2:24.767 was completely unexpected, mentioning it happened in a call with Sword, Logan, and ZQ. The 2:24.767 was 173 milliseconds behind the world record entering lap 3. So Flair said he rightfully had no nerves going into lap 3, being very relaxed during the entire lap. For the shortcut to the path switch, Flair thought he didn't have a chance at improving, thinking to himself that maybe this run had a chance of maybe a 2:24.9 if the ending was strong enough. So imagine Flair's expectation with that to what he saw crossing the finish line. Flair said he couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the time, having to stare at the screen for a while just to make sure he was believing what he was seeing. So check this out. Not only did Flair set a new world record, he beat the best known split on lap 3 by 30 milliseconds, which is a ton for how optimized these laps are currently. Flair says his reaction to this record was more emotional than the 2:24.775. Flair mentions the 224.775 is a lot cleaner than this one, but it really doesn't bother him, saying he wouldn't have it any other way, closing that he is ultimately glad to clutch out another improvement and bring the course even closer to its limit. Flair says his best splits are 48.247, 48.119, and 48.100, equaling a 224.466, with this being less than 100 milliseconds off the current best known splits that add up to a time of 224.374. Flair would like to push this down to a low 224.7, but says this is already asking for a lot. This wouldn't require perfect driving, but you would need to nail every major aspect of the track. Good shortcuts, good jack strats, good zipper turns, clean path switches, and very little QM. Regarding that last bit, Flair mentions that the road before the cannon is a nightmare for karts, mentioning bad QM can sometimes send you all the way to the other side of the road, with the time loss varying depending on how bad it is, saying he has lost all the way up to as much as 150 to 200 milliseconds because of it. Flair doesn't see the course being pushed down any further than a mid 224.6 currently, which would require a best known pace into lap 3 plus a mid 48.1 on lap 3. And to really put this into perspective, Flair shares that in the several months he played this track during 2020, he could only get that type of pace 3 times. Over a couple of months, only getting that pace 3 times, that is wicked. Flair ultimately concludes that he doesn't see this happening for several months again, and he really doesn't want to do that currently. And I don't blame him at all with how much of a dedicated grind he went through here. Flair says he will continue to play the track because he really enjoys it, but will only be playing it more casually from now on. Always so exciting to hear the backstory and journey for someone setting their first world record. Biggest props and congrats to you, Flair, for your hard work and diligence paying off in the end and joining the world record ranks. Rainbow Road No Glitch remains one of the most unique world records in the game, with the world record being fastest with a kart humanly. Bikes can certainly thrive and give karts a run for their money, but it will require a multitude of near task exclusive strategies to be implemented and mastered. I still greatly admire the state of Rainbow Road with where it is currently and how much it has been optimized with all the different strategies for racing in a kart here. Best of luck on any future grinds here, Flair. Next up, we have some activity over on Toad's Factory Shortcut category. On December 15th, Logan would have a sizable cut to his previous world record by 266 milliseconds, with a time of 144.724. And 4 days later, Logan sets a second improvement, this time by 53 milliseconds with a time of 144.671. These two runs should look a bit different to Logan's 144.990 set back in March of 2020. With both of Logan's times this month, a new mushroom strategy is used. Instead of doing the box clip on laps 1 and 3, the box clip is now performed on laps 1 and 2. Logan mentions he gives a lot of credit to Ross for discovering the lap 1 and lap 2 box clip being faster, as these improvements wouldn't have been doable without him. Logan's comments for his runs this month are brief. For the 144.724, Logan says the run was fine except for the drop wheelie on lap 3, and especially with this still being pace locked by the cycles of the crates, missing the chain wheelie is one of the biggest sources of time gain or time loss after nailing the 2 crate clips. For the 144.671 run, Logan says this was cleaner than the 724, but there were still visible mistakes during the run, and Logan wants to get a low 144 in the future and potentially a 143 if Logan gets super lucky with the attempts. I went into a bit of detail in the January 2020 world record review discussing the intricacies of Toad's Factory box clips and why this isn't performed on all 3 laps. What would really be most ideal is if we could say clip off the fence here all 3 laps and not worry about the cycles of the moving crates. But unfortunately, this has different properties that don't allow high clips compared to the crates. Crazy and wacky methods are always dreamed up at some point down the line in the future for many strategies and techniques for a lot of tracks, so maybe the story won't end here with strategies changing. Either way, Logan's 144.990 was very strong for the lap 1 and lap 3 crate strategy, so cutting over 300 milliseconds is very impressive implementing this new strategy of doing the crate clips on laps 1 and 2. Shoutouts once more to Ross for testing out this theory, and very narrowly missing the world record as well, by the way. Maybe we will see Ross and others try this out in the coming months. Congrats to you, Logan, for both of your impressive improvements, and good luck on future attempts. History was made on December 17th of 2020. With many tests being conducted by the talented members of the Mario Kart Wii test community over time, a humanly viable strategy was pioneered to glitch N64 Bowser's Castle. On December 17th, Logan would become the first human to successfully glitch N64 Bowser's Castle, beating the previous world record by over 10 seconds, with a time of 2:25.84. Logan says this was one of the biggest mental grinds he has ever had for any track. Logan was keeping count on his stream, mentioning it took over 450 poll clips to eventually get a successful glitch. Logan mentions he came up short by 1 frame twice, which really gave him the momentum he needed to push and make the glitch. Alongside making the glitch itself, I'm happy Logan talked about this as well. Logan says he was more thrilled with the driving because he drove like he practiced for laps 2 and 3. For those not as familiar, driving with the spear on this track can be a nightmare, especially for the second half of the lap on this track. And Logan executed the driving in a consistent and quick fashion for laps 2 and 3, not wavering with very minimal errors for the strategies attempted on the shroomless driving. Logan is rooting for Arthur to complete the hardest glitch in the game, referring to Rainbow Road, as Logan says he personally doesn't think he can handle going for that one, and how awesome has it been with Arthur successfully doing that track during January. The sheer difficulty of glitching N64 Bowser's Castle like this needs to be properly explained. With that said, I'm going to be making a history of glitching N64 Bowser's Castle video, which will be coming out in the future, just like I did for glitching GCN Waluigi Stadium humanly for the first time. I'll touch on a few points briefly in this review for December. Originally, this was deemed only task exclusive to glitch, as it required doing rapid fire hopping to perform super grinding on the bridge, to build up enough speed, be launched from the road, and clipping the hole precisely to go back far enough to have the lap count. The strategy found to work for humans was performed and tested by CF. CF's video will be linked in the description down below. You can actually perform a barrel roll by doing a wheelie while dropping off the banister on the side of the road. Boiling it down very simply for the sake of this video, this allows you to be able to get airtime from the road and be going fast enough by the time you clip the pole at the right part. You can go far enough backwards using another mushroom to do this successfully. And funnily enough, this also ends up being faster overall for task runs of the glitch category of this track as well. This is one of the craziest glitches in the game, both to pull off and watching visually. Logan was the first person to successfully pull off a world record on GCN Waluigi Stadium with the glitch there back in July of 2020 as well, and is the first person to do it on N64 Bowser's Castle. Biggest props and credits to Logan for that grueling grind to pull this off. This appears to be the newest rank 2 of the hardest glitches to do in the game behind Rainbow Road, both by human players and task runners. Logan says he won't be returning to this category for a long time, and I would definitely do the same if I were Logan. Congratulations on this epic feat. As mentioned before, be on the lookout in the future for an upload on the history of glitching this track humanly. There are a few different strategies that were attempted and theorized before this one too over time, which should make for a fun time summarizing the journey to this feat being reached in December. Closing out the world record activity for the year of 2020, we head to N64 DK's Jungle Parkway glitch category. We had 2 improvements in December. On December 19th, Bryce would get the world record here for the first time, beating the previous world record by over 1 second and getting the first 42-second time on this category, with a time of 42.850. 2 days later, on December 21st, Invincible will reclaim the world record by 6 milliseconds, with a time of 42.844. For Bryce's improvement, Bryce says that this run is his best pace entering lap 3, but only because you need to make all 3 glitches to enter lap 3, with lap 3 triggering as he crossed the finish line banner. The beginning of the run was good, with Bryce highlighting the first alignment here in the run. For the second and third glitch alignments, Bryce says they were slow and missed the standstill on the landing of lap 2, which lost over a second. This one definitely hurts to see watching this one back. I can only imagine what kind of time Bryce would have set here if he was able to get that standstill on lap 2. Bryce says he is not sure if he will seriously grind this out again after how long it took Bryce to get a run together here. But if he does, he'll go for really fast alignments on all 3 laps and go for a 38-second time. And honestly, a time like that is not too far-fetched, especially when watching the comparisons back. You can see how much time is gained or lost by how fast he can set up and commit to each alignment here. Bryce says his best known split of 18.130 on lap 1 was on 37 pace until getting a wheelie lock before hopping in the grass for the 3rd clip of the run, and says he's really proud of this lap way more than the run he set during December. There's clearly lots of potential here for you, Bryce, so congrats on your improvement getting the record here for the first time, and good luck if you decide to return here. For Invincible's run, Invincible says the lap 1 of 29.80 was pretty good, being his first 20-second lap 1 performed in a run. The first alignment was a little slow, but the last turn and second alignment helped clutch out a 20-second lap 1 in the end for Invincible. For lap 2, Invincible says this was an amazing split with a good low glitch into a solid 3rd alignment into the 3rd glitch. On lap 3, this is Invincible's best normal glitch split with a good glitch recovery and the last turn taken well, narrowly beating out Bryce by this Ghost comparison on the screen currently. This is a nice representation that really trying to optimize other parts of shortcut or glitch runs can give you that extra push for faster lap splits, all the way to clutching out a world record improvement. Invincible says personally for him, alignments for each glitch make or break runs personally for his attempts, highlighting the hesitation on the lap 1 glitch alignment when fixing it before backing up and going for the glitch, and further states he knew he needed to play the rest of the run pretty risky if he wanted to complete a strong lap, which led him to going for a faster 2nd glitch alignment, backing up almost instantly in comparison. After getting the 2nd glitch, Invincible said he knew he had a shot at the world record, but knew it'd be close, so he went all out as well for the 3rd glitch alignment, and the result being what we see here currently. Invincible does want to eventually start risking a very fast last turn on lap 3, but does share the difficulty of doing this combined with all the nerves after making a 3-for-3 glitch run here, and I can completely understand that. I would feel the same way after making this very precise glitch 3-for-3 on world record pace. Doing this last turn optimally can be very scary going around, as if you get thrown slightly left with your approach when exiting the mini turbo to wheelie, you can very easily clip some of the mud on the left, and you either lose a lot of time or lose almost all of your speed depending on your alignment. Invincible closes his comments saying he is happy to get the world record back and will continue to chase down a 3-for-3 low glitch run, currently going for a 41-second time here. Congratulations on your improvements and efforts both to you, Invincible, and Bryce as mentioned before, and best of luck with future attempts here. And with that, fellas, the year of 2020 for the Mario Kart Wii time trial scene is completed. December yielded enough improvements to push 2020 over the 100 world record tally, ending with 102 world records set for 2020. 149 world records were set in 2019, and 122 world records were set in 2018, currently on a 3-year streak of over 100 world records set once more. Going through the stats, in 2020 we saw 28 unique players set world records in 2020, with 7 of those players being new players setting their first world records overall. And today from 2008 to 2020, 420 individual players have set a world record in Mario Kart Wii time trial. The total time for all world records went from 46 minutes, 40 seconds, 841 milliseconds to 46 minutes, 14 seconds, 763 milliseconds, cutting half a minute in the total time for world records. Although we didn't beat the world record tally for 2019, if I counted it correctly, 35 out of 49 categories saw at least one improvement in 2020. That statistic is unreal. That means that over 2/3 of all the world records were improved at least once in 1 year. Massively impressive for where the standard is now with Mario Kart Wii time trials over 12 years later. with this game turning 13 years old in April of this year. The current longest lasting world record entering 2021 is BPDK's Bowser's Castle No Glitch world record of 2:20.672, set on October 13th of 2018, and it stands as the last world record from 2018 out of all categories now. We had many impressive records and new standards reached on the majority of tracks as mentioned previously. This concludes the playlist now for reviewing all the world records monthly for 2020. I'd highly encourage you all to give this year in review a watch to see how things have progressed from the beginning of this year to the end. Thank you all very much as always for your support, feedback, and viewership on the channel. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this video series for well over 2 years now. At some point during 2021, I hope to have my first video out, which will be an annual world record review, reviewing an entire year's worth of activity in one massive video. Think of it as a Cliff Notes style of review for an entire year, going through the most notable progress on every category of every track year by year. It's going to take a long time making those, but I look forward to getting the first one out during 2021. Plenty more is coming to the channel, guys, especially for time trials, so be sure you're subscribed and like the videos if you're enjoying them. It helps to grow the channel and gets more people engaged in the scene. 2020 was one of the most exciting years for Mario Kart Wii time trials, and I greatly look forward to how 2021 plays out, with January 2021 already being an incredible month to start this year's activity. On that note, I'll be seeing all of these sometime soon to review the first month's world record activity for 2021. Take care.